Hey guys, welcome to the Movie Champ Show, episode number 28. I am Walker Cheatham. With me tonight I have
EJ Fleming.
And guys, we have a pretty our stacked show, I guess. We have a lot, actually more news stories than we normally would. We still only have about 2 trailers. I think that seems to be
the norm.
The norm now is 2 trailers.
2.
Yep. But we're actually a little lower on our movie review count. Normally we do at least 3, and we're only doing 2 today.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot to talk about, so it's still going to be probably the same length episode as we normally have.
Yes.
But I'm excited for what we're going to be talking about today. We have as far as the news stories go, we have a couple really cool casting announcements for some. Some of them are in talks anyway. They're all interesting anyway, and we have some Batgirl movie updates, and then as far as the trailers go, there are movies that I'm not interested in seeing, but I'm more interested to talk about them than I am about seeing them.
It's more fun to rag on them than actually be excited for, and that's a good place to be right now.
And then we have two really good, like I said, 2 pretty good movie reviews that we're going to talk about. That we're both excited to talk about anyways. So let's see here. Are we ready to go ahead and get started?
Hey, you got the remote that sets the show in motion. Let's do this.
All right, so we have some Terminator news. Let's see here. The search for a new Terminator to take over the first sanctioned Jim Cameron reboot since the original is over. Director Tim Miller and producer Cameron have tapped Gabriel Luna for the role. Luna is best known for starring as Robbie Reyes or Ghost Rider on the ABC action superhero series Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's a mouthful. As well as the El Rey Network drama series Matador. On the film side, he starred in the films Freeheld and Transpacos. I believe that's what you say. Okay. Anyways, how's this news sound to you as far as Gabriel Luna?
It's intriguing because I don't know what kind of Terminator he's going to play.
Well, you know what? James Cameron is famous for picking people out of nowhere and then putting them into the spotlight. Except for I guess Arnold Schwarzenegger. He did direct. Yeah, he directed the first Terminator. So, but Arnold Schwarzenegger, first 2. So. He wasn't really a nobody whenever he was cast in Terminator, but still, as far as Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, we didn't know who they were before Titanic.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was an unknown when Terminator first came out.
Really?
Yeah. Terminator 2 made him a household name.
Okay, I thought he was. It's like
he was known in the body.
Well, yeah, he was a household name, definitely. But he had already done. What's the movie I'm thinking? Predator and all that stuff, right?
No, Predator came after all of that.
Did it?
Yeah, Terminator was his first big movie.
I thought Terminator was like early 90s.
No, Terminator was like early 80s.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, Terminator 2 was early 90s.
Okay, so there was just a long gap between then, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to get your
I gotta get
your
my
timeline
is really jacked up.
Yes, very much so. That's why I'm here to keep it in check.
I was born in the early 90s, so I have an excuse for not necessarily getting that correct, I guess. I'm hoping that's a good excuse.
No, it is not.
It's not a good excuse.
No. Even yourself disagrees with you.
I disagree with myself. All right. Well, anyways, let's get back to this thing. Yeah, okay, fine. That proves my point then. He was good at picking people out of nowhere and making them into superstars, I guess. So it'd be really
funny he didn't do that with Sam Worthington.
He did not do that with Sam Worthington. They tried so hard.
And technically they're still trying because the Titan came out
and that was bad. Did you watch that yet? That's really bad. We're not talking about that in this episode, except for right now, I guess. Yeah, we are talking about it. That was really bad.
Yeah, because anytime I think about Sam Worthington, I think back to not Clash of the Titans. That one was bad. But I think back to Wrath of the Titans with his Pistol Pete Maravich haircut. Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know, but either way, I am I am mild. I'm not actually all that excited, if I'm going to be completely honest. I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I have no idea who he is.
Oh, yeah, but he was a good Ghost Rider. He didn't play Johnny Blaze. Oh, and by the way, Night Hippie Chick says hello.
Hey there, Night Hippie Chick.
Yeah, but he didn't play Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider. He played a second Ghost Rider that came after Johnny Blaze, and he happens to be imbued with a different spirit.
Okay.
Like, his spirit was like a serial killer.
Oh, wow.
So he had a whole lot of different stuff to work out than Johnny Blaze did. So it was a different level of ghost vengeance he was dishing out.
Okay.
But it actually worked because instead of a motorcycle, he had like a muscle car.
Okay.
And then when he would go ghost riding, it would be like a muscle car imbued with flames. And it was a cool visual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, but I mean that how even him as an actor though, and his acting.
Oh yeah, he played.
Not that it requires you to be a very good actor to play the Terminator, because Arnold Schwarzenegger did it. Yeah, and he did it really well. But
you also got to take into account that they may be making a new kind of Terminator.
That'd be cool. I mean,
where like they could act like Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles touched on it with Summer Glau's Terminator, where she could fake emotions.
Okay.
And then actually emote and things that really hide her Terminator identity away from the T-800s.
Well,
and humanity, because she was protecting John Connor while he was in high school, so she had to pretend to be a normal high school student, even though she was a Terminator.
Okay. Well, somebody that holds this higher. I mean, I don't hold Terminator franchise at any high regard, so my opinion on this isn't going to be super impactful, I don't think, at all. But either way, I have no idea who this actor is, and I'm not overly excited. I'm just more excited just to see James Cameron return to Terminator than anything.
Yeah, I think
whatever he does is going to be.
If this works, if he brings Terminator back to the forefront, Fox, and if this merger works through, Disney's going to be on the more so Disney going to be on the phone when the merger goes through. Hey, we have a little franchise problem here. Do you think you could come back to it? The Xenomorph says hi, by the way. Yeah, I think James Cameron will come back to the Alien franchise if Terminator does well.
Yeah, probably.
Because Ridley Scott is just taking it into some direction.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, I think that's enough as far as talking about this. But yeah, Gabriel Luna, I mean, he's got, I guess, a decent resume, but just nothing I've seen. Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to our next. Or actually, guys, how about you guys? Do you have any opinion on Gabriel Luna being cast as the new Terminator? You guys let us know in the comments. And go ahead and move to our next story, and this is a Batgirl movie update. Here we go. Warner Brothers is wasting no time moving ahead with their Batgirl movie. Joss Whedon left the project just 2 months ago, and per the Hollywood Reporter, the studio is already gearing up for a new version of the film with Bumblebee scribe Christina Hodson set to pen the script. The film will finally give one of DC Comics' most established female heroes the headlining treatment on screen, featuring the character's most iconic incarnation, Barbara Gordon, daughter of Gotham City Police Commissioner James Gordon. Okay. I've already forgotten the lady's name. What's her name?
Christina Hodson. But
okay.
The part that struck me confuses was they make it seem like there's been more than one Batgirl.
As far as just like Barbara Gordon?
No. Yeah, I've only known Barbara Gordon to be Batgirl. I know there's a Batgirl and a Batwoman.
Right.
But those are two separate characters. I'll be honest with you, I kind of want them to bring Batwoman into the DCEU.
Really?
Yeah, because she's a whole different smoke than Batgirl. Man. She's a member of the Bat family, but she doesn't start off that way at first. It's very different. It'd be unique to see Batman go up against someone like Batwoman, you know, because they start off on like the classic superhero trope. Start on opposite sides, then they meet in the middle, then they find the common threat.
Mm. Okay,
but Batgirl on the other, but a Batgirl movie that could work could be lighter, funnier. It could have if Shazam movie works, it could have a similar tone to Shazam because, like she says, she's younger, so therefore she could have a teenage, young YA flair to her movie.
Don't throw the YA in there.
Well,
I know what you. There's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it doesn't work more often than.
I see what you're saying. The Dangerous Minds is still a Vertigo out for that. Well,
Yeah.
That's the name of that movie, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Now, okay, but on the subject of Christina Hodson being the likely writer of this, I mentioned that she's wrote the screenplay for the upcoming Bumblebee movie.
Mhm.
She was also in the writers' room for the last Transformers movie, The Last Night. And she's also wrote the screenplay for that Katherine Heigl movie that came out last year called Unforgettable.
No, I'm not looking forward to
And
this at all.
she also wrote the horror thriller Shut In that came out in 2016.
So she's like 0 for 3. No, I'm not looking. So no, I'm out. This is Shark Tank now. Based on your past resume, I'm sorry to say that I can't go see your movie. I'm out. Nah. And in the comment section, I want them to say, well, he's sexist. No, she made 3 bad movies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care. No, I don't care. It's 3 strikes, you're out. Shut In, Unforgettable,
And
Transformers, 3 strikes.
Yeah.
Go to the batter's box. Go back to the bench. You're done.
Man, I want to hold off. I wanted to say I wanted to hold off my judgment until I saw Bumblebee. But there's so much there in the resume to not be to halt any sort of excitement there.
They was like, yeah, we get a Batgirl movie, and it's like, oh.
And I'm not a huge Joss Whedon fan, but I probably would have preferred he stay. That's the other thing. Do you really believe that Joss Whedon was ever going to be part, or was ever, he direct this movie?
He was, but then he saw what happened with Justice League, and he was like, I'm gone. I'm not dealing with this again. I'm not here. I'm not going to be standing here while the building burns, and then I'm just sitting here like everything's okay, brushing soot off my shoulder.
You just know he had so many problems, career problems last year, as far as like his public image, for some allegations that were going against him, especially since he's such an outspoken feminist. It was kind of just something that I don't know.
Yeah, but
it made me. It was interesting because that was like the first thing you heard was that he was going to do this Batgirl movie, and then he was going to try to fix this Justice League movie. So I just curious if he was ever really. I think
he was really dedicated, but the work on the Justice League movie and having to probably deal with that studio thing, and after coming off of his quote unquote burnout from the Marvel Studios machine, and then seeing a machine that works well versus a machine that's barely hanging on, he'd rather not deal with that again.
Well, I'm curious where his career is going to be going after.
He'll probably go back to TV.
Probably.
Yeah, technically, he'll
probably be a producer.
He technically is still on TV because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still on TV.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, yeah, this is just a no for me.
Yeah.
This is a hard no for me.
Yeah.
On this story.
like you said in past episodes, I know we're not doing it, but
yeah,
this gets a thumbs down from me.
Okay, so now for something a lot more interesting and more exciting. There's definitely some better news here, guys. And it's for It Chapter 2 has 2 pretty big stars that are in talks right now, and that is with Jessica Chastain officially on board. It Chapter 2, New Line has now begun to zero in on who will play the rest of the Losers Club, with James McAvoy and Bill Hader in talks to join the next installment. Sources tell Variety that McAvoy is in talks for the role of Bill, who was played by Jaden Lieberher in the first pick, while Hader is in talks to play for the role of Richie, which was played by Finn Wolfhard in the last film. I guess the first film, whatever. As previously announced, Chastain will play Beverly. Okay, so I know Bill Hader was always a lot of people's top pick for the role of Richie, but James McAvoy came out of nowhere. What is your reaction to both of these things?
James McAvoy better be careful.
Why?
He might get typecast as the psychic.
Oh, okay. So this is something that oh, okay. Yeah, it's the story. I don't think. Well, I don't know.
He's been Professor X.
He's been acting for over 20 years. I think he's safe from the typecast.
He's safe for the typecast, yes, but you got to remember that if they do adapt it like chapter 2, like it's supposed to be done in the book, you have the ritual of Chud to do.
Yeah,
and which is a psychic battle.
Okay,
and Bill handles the psychic battle. And when did it look like Professor X fighting Pennywise to the uninitiated?
Probably.
Although that would be cool to see.
I would only hope that this chapter 2, because they already are planning to change this up by having by bringing back some of the kid cast and doing some flashback stuff, which I guess is closer to the book than it is to the to the first.
Well, they got to so I think they still had moments like that, even though they were adults. They still had stories they told when they were kids, even though they were adults. So
I'm hoping that they take a little bit of creative liberty and take out some of the really cheesy stuff from the book, but they run the risk of upsetting the book people, which is not new to the movie industry.
Oh yeah. Well, and then when you have a 12,000-page book like it,
yes,
you got to trim some fat.
Yeah. And if that's the story element that gets cut, I would be totally fine with it, because that just sounds really stupid. But I also haven't read the book, so I can't comment on how well it works in the story, in the context of the story there.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of cheesy, it's kind of funny that a lasagna bolognese popped up on the TV while we were talking about cheesy.
Well, Google's listening.
Yes.
But anyways, where was I now? Okay, but as far as this casting, from my opinion, It sounds excellent.
It does sound excellent.
You can never go wrong casting James McAvoy, and I've seen James McAvoy and Bill Hader are actually friends, so they probably already have really good chemistry together.
Mm-hmm. Now you just got to fill in the rest of the Loser Club.
Yes,
and I saw someone cast. What was the? I feel bad because what was the? Because you had the Loser Club. Mike. The one who was working in his father's farm with the sheep, and he had Yeah, they want Chiwetel Ejiofor for him.
Okay.
Like people like the fan casting has picked Chiwetel for him.
I've heard him and Sterling. Was it Sterling K?
He's on a hot streak right now.
Yeah, he's in everything, and I'm okay with that.
Yes, Sterling K. Brown pops up in something that's like, oh, he's okay. That's interesting. All right.
Yes, but I mean, I think we're back.
Yeah,
that was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
Okay, but so we were just talking about It, Bill Hader. Okay.
Yes.
And I was talking about how much I like Bill Hader, how much I like James McAvoy, and how much I like this idea.
Yes, we were both in agreement there. Yes.
Okay. So now we're all caught back up.
Yes.
And is there anything else you wanted to add to this story that I didn't mention?
No, I think we touched on everything together.
Okay. All right. Well, that's dope then. We'll go ahead and move on.
What's going on with it tonight, guys?
Man.
Okay, it's back.
Okay,
we're back.
I hope it doesn't do that again.
Let's hope it stays green.
Yeah.
Green. Okay. Phone, I don't need you talking right now.
Did any of what I just said show up on there? Either way.
It's fine.
Let's get the show. We'll keep the show going now. And we're gonna go ahead and do trailer reviews.
Yes, we are.
And for our first trailer review, it's it's gonna have to be done manually.
Yay!
All right, for our first trailer review, it's for the movie Future World, directed by James Franco. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
The youth of noble birth embarks on a journey through a wasteland plagued with heat, ravaged by disease and crippled by chronic war to find medicine for his dying mother. Future World is expected to hit theaters nationwide on May 25th, 2018.
And hit the bargain bins at Walmart in August.
Yeah.
This movie looks terrible.
Yeah, this is apparently a movie that James Franco directed well before he did. Oh
wow, I need to back that up a little bit.
Yeah, back that up some.
Yeah,
well before he did The Disaster Artist.
Mm.
And it just looks like something that was probably sitting on a studio shelf, and they just said, you know what, we got to get this out there.
Yeah, we've made it like 5 years ago, so we got to do something with it. You can't
by the way, this also stars Mila Jovovich, Snoop Dogg or Snoop Lion or Snoop something, and Lucy Liu. So, and I think what's her name? Suki something.
Suki something.
Suki something.
Yeah. I don't care to remember.
Waterhouse, I think it's something like that. I don't know. This trailer anyway makes the movie look like a really bad. I want to say a rip off, Mad Max. But it looks more like a bad spoof of Mad Max.
Yeah.
Not just a bad ripoff, but
it looks like someone
world.
you don't like to paraphrase what they say in Tropic Thunder. You never go Waterworld. You never go full Waterworld.
Yeah, full Waterworld. Oh yeah, it just looks absolutely terrible. And I'm probably still gonna check it out.
Oh, no doubt, because
don't hold me too much to making sure I see this.
And I'm going to hold this thumbs down here.
Yeah. Okay. For the next
story.
For the next story, and that is the trailer for The Meg.
May I read this one, please?
No, because I don't have the slide there.
Because you obviously don't care about this movie either. That is the perfect analogy of how we feel about this movie.
Hang on 1 second. Let's just look at Jason Statham in The Shark for just a quick second, and I might be able to...
No, not the shark, man. The Meg.
The Meg.
Oh, Megalodon.
Just a quick sec, I will literally have the correct slide in there right now. Okay, so go ahead and read this.
Okay, a massive creature attacks a deep-sea submersible, leaving it disabled and trapping the crew at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. With time running out, rescue diver Jonas Taylor must save the crew and the ocean itself from an unimaginable threat.
Oh,
a 75-foot-long prehistoric shark known as the Megalodon. The Meg is expected in theaters nationwide on August 15th, 2018. Your typos is fine. You're talking about the Meg. You didn't give much effort into it. That's fine. I don't care. I don't honestly care.
I put more effort into trying to find that slide than I feel like they put into this movie.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Boy.
Just reading that plot synopsis, you know what the first movie came to my mind? There's never a good thing that this movie came to my mind.
What's that?
Jaws 3D.
Oh no! You know what? When I watched this trailer, it does have a little bit of the feeling like a space movie, just lower. It's a lot lower than a space movie. It's because it's underwater, obviously. So it just looks really bad. I don't know. I know a lot of people enjoy the book for the Meg. But I'm curious how those one that really enjoyed it feel about just this trailer. I don't know. I don't know if there's just something I'm missing here, but there just doesn't look like a lot of redeeming qualities to this story. It doesn't feel like it was such an important thing to make sure this movie got made.
We have a reply from Jade about this movie.
What's that?
I love shark movies, no matter how stupid they are. So I'm kind of excited for this one.
Okay. I do. Okay, maybe I'll go ahead and put this out there. I'm not a huge shark movie fan. And I don't know if that has anything to do with my call it a phobia, if you will. I don't swim in the ocean. I don't like the ocean at all. I can swim, but I hate the ocean.
Here's one thing I will say about the Meg. As I unapologetically enjoy the Sharknado movies.
Okay. I haven't watched any of them.
This is not on my radar, and I'm looking forward to Sharknado 6 more so than I am the Meg.
Really?
Yes. I've put more time, effort, and energy into waiting for Sharknado 6 than I am watching Ready for the Meg.
Now, I did like 47 Meters Down. I thought that one more the tension and the terror of the situation. Yeah,
that was a realistic shark movie.
And this is nearly Sharknado. Just I don't know.
It's Sharknado with a budget.
Yeah, with the budget, I guess.
And when you do Sharknadoes, you just kind of throw common sense out the window. It looked like they had the money to make a good movie, but then they made a Sharknado movie.
And I like Rainn Wilson, but he seems to be the person that they're going to rely on for the comedic.
This is what a Sci-Fi Channel movie would look like if it had the budget to be what it wanted to be.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They would just call it Megalodon.
I'm willing to be corrected to go out there and cheer for this movie if it turns out to be good.
This movie would have had no names in it and came on 9:00 at night on a Saturday in the broadcast premiere on Sci-Fi. Yes. Okay. Megalodon, Saturday, 9 p.m. on Sci-Fi.
And then for it to be directed by Jon Turteltaub, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't hate Jon Turteltaub. I just think that when he's in his element, he strives, which is usually family-friendly movies. He's done a lot of Disney movies. He's done did the National Treasure movies, which I really enjoy. I like him.
Him and Jason. Did you forget Jason Statham and the Meg could become friends?
No, stop. So they seeing some, but I mean I have no problems with seeing directors go out of their element. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I just know I've seen a lot of the movies where Jon Turteltaub has tried to venture out of that family friendly stuff, and it stinks. But I mean, actually, some people like that Las Vegas movie, which he directed. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I do know that it does have its cult following, I guess, for that movie. Some people swear that was one of the best comedies of that year, where I didn't like it at all. But I'm just, like I said, I am not even slightly excited about this movie, and if it maybe had gone for the full R, but you can get away with a lot in these shark movies. A lot of the shark movies that have come out recently have been rated PG-13.
Dude, they got a lot of one of the movies they got away with a lot with one of the movies we watched on Thursday night.
Yeah, that's true. They did, and
that was like a big budget video game based movie. And they was like, oh, they went there, didn't they? Yeah.
But I mean, well, Sharknado goes there, and it sucks. So.
Yeah, but it's obviously, Sharknado it goes there too, but it's obviously fake.
Right.
Where Rampage, it was like, oh, yeah. They actually put the money into it, and it actually gave you the reaction,
Mm-hmm. I just know that this is going to be one of those movies where I'm not going to care for any of the human characters. Because I hardly ever care for anything Jason Statham is doing besides maybe I like to see him work, but I don't care about his characters.
Yeah, like when you watch a Transporter movie, you just want to see him just go through everybody.
Yeah, that's all I want to see, and I don't feel like I'm going to care to see him battle a shark in this movie. So I don't know. I'll go ahead and move on to our next. Oh, that we're done with the trailers. We're going to go on to our movie reviews now, and you're going to be the one reviewing this one.
Yes,
so
I will.
I will go ahead and get this set up for you.
Alrighty, thank you. And the movie that I saw today, Isle of Dogs. When, by executive decree, all the canine pets of Megasaki City are exiled to a vast garbage dump called Trash Island, 12-year-old Atari sets off alone in a miniature junior turboprop and flies across the river in search of his bodyguard dog, Spots. There, with the assistance of a pack of newly found mongrel friends, he begins an epic journey that will decide the fate and future of the entire prefecture.
Okay, so Isle of Dogs. You said, you just saw this one before you came here today.
Yes, I did.
Are you a Wes Anderson fan? Do you like Wes Anderson movies?
I think this might be my first one.
Really? Okay, that's interesting. I was gonna. You just went ahead and jumped head first right into that one.
Yeah.
Because I do enjoy Wes Anderson movies. I think that they have his style of comedy is so unique and funny.
I've heard of his movie like the Royal Tenenbaums, the Grand Marigold Hotel, the
Darjeeling Limited.
The Darjeeling Limited. Wasn't I Heart Huckabees one of his too?
No. I Heart Huckabees was David something else. A.R. Russell.
Yeah, but that. Yeah, I've heard of his movies. I've just never watched any of them. But actually, something about Isle of Dogs made me go, I want to see this, and maybe because of the fact that I really enjoy stop motion animation a lot. Yeah. So to see a stop motion movie come out like this, and it was really done very well, it made me want to rush out and see it. And so I did, and I was not disappointed.
Oh yeah,
I was not disappointed at all. It was very well done. The way he also used the one thing you don't see in the trailers is the way he uses traditional animation.
Really? Oh yeah. Because he does mix in some traditional animation in this one. He didn't do this in Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is my favorite stop motion movie.
I have to check that one. I'll have to check that one out now because I really enjoyed this one. Because the way he would use traditional animation in this one, well, like say like there's an event going on in the room, and you're watching the event go down on the TV. Well, instead of like showing like a camera angle, it's traditionally animated on the TV.
Oh,
but good. So like if like right now, we would be the stop motion figures, and the TV over here would be like a drawing.
Oh, really?
Of the event going on, as shown through the camera, and it was a really cool effect.
That's pretty awesome. So the what I got from the trailer for this movie, it felt like kind of like a mix of stop motion with some of the style of an anime. Is that at all inaccurate?
No, there was no anime stylings to this one. It was
I'm talking about the anime, the way like the storytelling and the acting and of some of the characters. Did it feel it felt sort of anime, but
it felt more even though it was stop motion, it still felt like a movie.
Right.
It didn't have like the dramatic angles or sharp, and it was all done very well. It was done very well, but it wasn't done anime style.
Okay.
And one thing you don't know going into that is actually told in like 4 parts in a prologue.
Okay.
Like the way they break it down, like it has a prologue, and it tells you the prologue sets up the events of why the dog band comes into play. It all goes back to feudal Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And how about this boy? It's called The Boy Samurai. And it's the prologue to the movie about how he killed the head samurai of the Kobayashi clan in order to save the dogs, because the Kobayashi clan favored cats over dogs. So then he killed the Kobayashi clan, and the dogs lived in harmony with the humans and whatnot. But then, present day, sometime in the future,
mm-hmm.
the new head of the Kobayashi clan becomes mayor, and he takes revenge for his family by banning all the dogs.
Wow.
Because of something called snout flu.
Mm.
Yeah, it was. But what you find out as you watch the movie, it takes a couple of twists and turns you're not expecting, and it tells the story very well. And one thing I also will give the movie credit for, it has no problem making you feel like an outsider.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like what I mean by that is when you like watch the movie, they tell you up front that the characters, all the Japanese characters are going to speak their any character that's in the movie is going to speak their native tongue.
Ooh, so
without
no subtitles.
And the only time it'll be translated is if there's official translators and whatnot in the room in the scene. So like if you're like at a press conference, there's a translator there, so whatever he says is translated. Mm-hmm. But if it's like going on in a house or an apartment or in a meeting room somewhere and there's no translator present, they're just speaking Japanese to each other, and you just have to gather what's going on between the conversation and the cues and the body language. And I thought that was cool. It didn't exactly give you the dialogue you want, but at the same time,
so do you miss any story elements that way?
Oh no, you don't miss any story elements at all, because the way it's done, like the way they animate the figures, it comes across through the animation.
Okay.
As even though you can't understand what they're saying, and the little effects they do using stop motion was clever. Like they had a scene where the scientist was pouring chemicals together to get in there. You know how sometimes in movies, if you pour chemicals, you get like a smoke reaction?
Yeah.
Well, in this movie, it was like cotton coming out of the tube.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was a cool little touch, that everything was still a physical thing and not just an effect they edited in post. They still had to animate the effect. Like the explosions were cloth, like bundles of black cotton.
Right.
And it was really cool how everything had a tactical feel, even if it was just supposed to have been fire and smoke.
So was this would you call this a comedy?
Oh, it's a comedy, but it's somewhat of a dark comedy.
Okay.
And it has a twist you don't see coming.
Cool.
Based on one of the dog characters, which is what they do cool with the dog. All the dogs is they speak English.
Right.
Because the way they said at the beginning of the movie, we just translate all the barks to English. So whenever they're speaking English, they're just barking to each other.
Oh, that's cool.
But they don't. So it's not just hearing barking all movie long. and it's very well done. The voice acting was good. Jeff Goldblum, he played Duke, and he was a gossip of the group. He would always say, "Hey, I heard a rumor," and everybody would be like, "Well, what you hear?" And then he would just tell them, like, he would advance the story a little bit based on what he heard, and it's pretty well done how they did it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay. How about the soundtrack for this one?
Oh, it was not necessarily like a. The score was pretty cool because it had a lot of Japanese taiko drums in the background and whatnot. It was very well done with that in that regard. Japanese taiko drums and flutes and all that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, so for this being your first venture into Wes Anderson, you said you're going to probably, and the next one you're going to check out will probably be Fantastic Mr. Fox then?
Yes. Yeah, because the stop motion style was just so well done here. I enjoyed it. The dogs, the dogs were very well done. They even though they were stop motion, they actually had emotions in their eyes and whatnot. There were funny stories that the dogs told. There were sad stories. Mm-hmm. It was very.
Yeah, that's usually a thing that in his movies, like it's just a mix of different emotions that you can feel. You can feel sad. You can feel, suspenseful sometimes, and usually the suspense is played off in a comedic way sometimes. But I think one of my favorite ones of his is Moonlight Kingdom, so you definitely check that one out too.
Yeah, and Bryan Cranston's always good no matter what he does.
Yeah, he was the lead dog in this one.
Yeah, he was the Felix, I think his name. Felix, I think his name was. It was very well done with his character, because you don't see what's coming with his character.
Really?
Yeah, it's not like something sad neither. It's like, oh wow, it's like a twist you don't see coming. You don't expect it.
Okay, so since this is dealing with these dogs, and are people going to cry watching this movie? Can you without spoiling it? Can you say people might cry watching this movie?
Maybe at one point when you think something happened when it didn't, but I can't say what.
Right, don't spoil that.
Yeah, okay. But it may be at one point, maybe at one, maybe 2 points. One may be a sad cry, one may be a happy cry.
Okay.
So twice.
So the Coco.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Coco effect.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're going to actually score this thing. You haven't scored it yet.
Yeah, I will give it a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. All right.
Why I'm only giving it a 9.5? I'm trying to think of anything why I'm taking I feel there was one character that was no, but then they served a point later in the story too.
Not all movies are perfect. You don't have to have so many faults in it just to not give it a 10.
Yeah, but I can't think of one. But 9.5, it'll stay.
That sounds fair. That sounds like a fair one.
I enjoyed it a lot, and hey, one day I might go see it again.
Dope. Oh yeah, maybe that's where you can have rewatchability.
Yeah, I want to watch it again just because to watch the technical marvel in it. It was kind of cool the way they stop motion everything. It was actually funny, and there was a dude behind me who was dying laughing the whole time this movie was on.
Really?
Yeah, he would find the simplest scene, be bust out laughing, and it make you chuckle just the sound of his laughter. So thank you, guy in the back.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to our last movie review for this episode, and that is Rampage.
Yes.
All right. Oh, you hadn't read that one. Good Lord, that's a lot of words.
Primatologist David Sequoia shares an unshakable bond with George, the extraordinarily intelligent gorilla who's been in his care since birth. But a rogue genetic experiment gone awry transforms this gentle ape into a raging monster. As these newly created monsters tear across North America, destroying everything in their path, Okoye teams with a discredited genetic engineer to secure an antidote, fighting his way through an ever-changing battlefield, not only to halt a global catastrophe, but to save the fearsome creature that was once his friend.
Okay, so I will go ahead and let you start off with what you liked about this movie.
I thought this movie was cool. George was an awesome character. David Sequoia was an awesome character. Well, that's The Rock. Mm-hmm. He's good, and he pretty much can elevate anything. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Doom notwithstanding. But we won't talk about. Well, I can talk about that because that's his only other video game movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, Doom notwithstanding, he can elevate anything to make it a little more than what it is. This was good. That was good. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he was pretty much Negan.
Yeah.
I like Negan, so that's cool. Special effects were cool. The way they designed the other two creatures, they were cool. Although I did felt that George did get the short end of the stick when it came to powers.
Okay.
George just grew.
George is the albino gorilla.
Yes, yeah. George just grew while the other two got like spikes and club tails and gliders and all this and all like that. George is just a really big gorilla.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you asked me, right, because we watched this one together. You asked me at the right when the credits were rolling. You said, "What would you score this movie if you had to score it right now?"
Yes.
And I didn't say this at the time, but I should have clarified. On a purely entertainment level, 9 out of 10. Okay, so that's what I said. On a purely entertainment level, I scored this at a 9 out of 10 because this was very entertaining, and I feel like now after chewing on it for a little while, it's been a few days. That was good. I thought 9 out of 10 for pure entertainment. But now I need to score this on a movie level.
Okay.
Which is something we didn't like that we had to do.
Well,
so on a movie level,
have to do.
What, you don't want to score this on a movie level?
I actually enjoyed this movie on a movie level.
Okay. Well, so yeah. Well, okay. So maybe I didn't want to have to do that. Yeah.
I left him alone again.
Thank you.
That's what I do.
I'm on an Isle of Walker right now.
The Isle of Walker. Okay. A Wes Anderson film.
Okay, but anyways, because I'm always the more critical one, I think, when it comes to these things.
I can be critical too. Remember?
Yeah. Because I put you through the crap movies. This is not a crap movie.
Did you hear? He just admitted it right there. He puts me through the crap movies. It's intentional. For that, I'm gonna have to make you see something bad on purpose. Hey, Truth or Dare is out.
No, Lord, no. Absolutely not right now. Okay, but anyways, okay, I did, like I said, I enjoyed this movie, but it's one of those movies that you probably will only enjoy in a movie theater. And I mean, if you were to take out The Rock from this movie and say replace him with Jason Statham, this movie would be garbage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So The Rock, like you said, he elevates the movies that he's in, and he definitely elevated this movie out of what probably could have been a disaster. But the thing I liked about this movie is that they kept the story simple. They didn't try to overcomplicate things. You know, with the Godzilla movie, what really ruined that movie was that they tried to develop the human characters out of very uninteresting people. They were very uninteresting characters that they tried to develop. So we had to slog through 2 hours of these people to get to this, what became kind of cool to Godzilla scene, the Godzilla scene that we were looking for. And then what they tried to correct that with Kong Skull Island by using really uninteresting characters, but we didn't get a lot of development from them, but we did get a lot of King Kong stuff. So what they did, they found a good medium with this, where you actually have a character that you like, and you get you really get, for the most part, you get a lot of really cool monster scenes. I thought the wolves were terrifying, or the wolf scene anyway. There's just one wolf. Yeah, was absolutely terrifying, especially where you notice that, or you see in this movie that there's not. Some of these characters that you think you're going to see a lot of, you're not going to see they're not going to last very long.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I was watching the movie like, okay, how is this character's going to get out of it? I don't want to say the actor's name because it'll spoil his fate.
Right.
But I was looking at the scene, I'm like, how does he get out of this one? And then his ride goes boom. I'm like, well, he don't.
Yeah.
He don't get out.
That was where it felt like almost like a horror movie. Like, it was absolutely terrifying with what these people, these soldiers were going through with these creatures. But overall, the relationship between The Rock and the albino gorilla was believable. You believe that he actually cared a lot for this for the gorilla. I guess you let it.
And the gorilla could be a jerk sometimes.
Yeah, and the gorilla had a sense of humor.
A very dark sense of humor,
Yes.
but a very dark, morbid, and curious sense of humor for a gorilla, but a sense of humor nonetheless.
And then, but what's funny is that this movie seems to be fully aware of the zaniness of the plot.
Oh yeah, well when you make a movie based on a video game, it almost kind of has to be that way.
And if I believe that most of the cast was aware, but they, for the most part, as far as The Rock and Jeffrey Dean Morgan and some of the other supporting characters, they remained dedicated, I guess, to the role. What is that the word I'm looking for? Dedicated. I'm pretty sure.
Devoted,
maybe. Yeah, to their role.
So
they took over they took that role and played it straight like they should have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where I get to the complaint. The villains in this movie are pretty bad.
Yeah.
Malin Ackerman was one of the villains in this movie, and
secondary villains.
Besides the monsters.
Yeah.
But it just felt like the really bad. I don't remember what they're from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
You talking about Boris in the top?
Boris in the top.
I've heard
like a cartoon character.
I've heard comparisons to Team Rocket.
Really?
From Pokemon.
Oh Lord, yeah. That was the kind of the vibe I was getting. So maybe if they said don't take this, if the director told them don't take this too seriously, I think she took that to heart. But at the same time, this is a challenge for anybody watching this video, our review. I challenge you to find one good Malin Ackerman role where she's actually ever, and I know she was in Watchmen. She was not that good in Watchmen.
I'm thinking back and all the scenes I remember from Watchmen.
I challenge you to find one time where you can actually say Malin Ackerman did a great job in that role.
I'm trying to think of the one scene I remember Malin Ackerman in the Watchmen that I remember was when they were beating up the goons in the alley, and that didn't require acting.
I can think of a really bad pun right now, like mailing it in.
Show's over, guys. Goodbye. We're done here. Wrap it up. Shut it down. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good guys. Night.
Oh man, but yeah, I thought about it. I was like, good Lord, has she really ever done anything? She's in a lot of movies, but she's usually the worst part of any movie she's in. Unfortunately, I think she could be talented, but maybe she picks bad parts as bad. I don't know, but. She was not good at all, and as this villain character, she, like I said, played it like a cartoon character where everyone else was kind of doing a good job.
I don't know. Jeffrey Dean Morgan wore a suit with a cowboy belt buckle, so.
But he is doing the Jeffrey Dean Morgan thing, which is right now is being Negan.
Oh yeah, when I was watching the Double Toasted review for Rampage, I did know they did bring something to my attention about Jeffrey Dean Morgan. In every scene, he's leaning.
Wow.
But like they said, like one of them said, Jeffrey Dean Morgan has like a kickstand. He just throws it out and he just leans for the scene. And
he's got a lot of swagger. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, there's swagger, but it is almost taking and laying down to take a nap.
Yeah. But he has an arc that you can actually sympathize with, for the most part.
Yeah, because he could have just easily have played the suit that gets in their way.
Yeah, because that's what I thought of him as at first. And
yeah,
he has, like I said, he has an arc, and then you're like totally on his side.
Yeah, like when he does certain things, you go, oh yeah, that actually makes sense that he would help them here, you know?
Right. Whereas I didn't feel any. I couldn't stand Malin Ackerman, and not for the reasons why we shouldn't.
Or her brother.
Or her brother. He was.
Her brother was funny though.
He had some funny parts, yeah, but
especially the end, where his end.
Yeah. So that was the other thing that I kind of. For these kind of movies, like I said last week, I said there's a lot of I'm blanking on the word now. Cannon fodder, where the deaths kind of mean nothing for the most part, and for this one, there's a lot of deaths in this movie that really that not even any of the characters seem to have cared about.
Yeah,
especially there's one where Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in a scene where somebody dies and it's a joke to him.
Yeah, but to be fair, he was, like you said, he was one of the dudes who Like the villains got the secondary villains got what was coming to them.
Yeah.
One got comp, and the other one got comp. But yeah,
so they weren't going at all for anything to try to play on your emotions in this movie.
No,
it's really
outside of George and
that's
Davis.
True. Yeah. Outside of that, they try not to do too many things to play on your emotions in this movie. They really just want you to sit there and be entertained.
Yeah,
which is like I said.
And you know what? This is one of the few times where adapting the plot of a game to a movie actually made sense in a way.
Right.
Because the plot of Rampage, the video game, was you bounce from city to city, leveling cities.
Yeah.
And what was the goal of this movie?
We leveled the city in this one.
Yeah, we leveled the final city, Chicago, as they were making their way from San Diego, Mexico, and Wyoming.
Yeah.
So they all met in Chicago. That was the final level.
Yep, but
and I thought that was cool, but there was one moment in the movie. I'm not saying anything against the movie for it, but because all video game movies do this, in the secondary villain's office, there was a Rampage arcade machine.
Oh yeah,
and that made me wonder. Well, would it not be a direct plot of the direct adaptation of the game?
Is that inspired?
Did that inspire the research in the movie?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what my mind went to, that this might be just a game for them in a way.
It's a game.
Not even just a way for them to get rich off of, but also to inspire them to do.
That's why they call it Project Rampage, because they found a way to create the monsters from the game in a way.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're called it Rampage. And I thought if that was what the direction was going for, I thought that was kind of cool. If not, it was just a loophole. It was just a plot hole.
And this isn't so much of a complaint, but more of just a thing about the movie. The final battle is all about 20 minutes in this movie. We really could not go a minute without The Rock being in frame at all during this battle. The Rock always managed to stay in frame during this entire battle. This is literally the first time The Rock's probably ever been in a movie where the focus is on something bigger than him. And we still could not manage to have a monster battle without The Rock staying in frame.
Well, because The Rock was supposed to have been us, remember? The Rock is supposed to be our gateway into that battle.
Yeah, it's true, but still, I thought it was funny how tiny he was compared to these creatures, but still, he was in the middle of it.
Yeah, but see, that's what that ex-Army Ranger coming in. He's a soldier, so he's used to being in situations where
he should have been squashed 1,000 times in this movie.
He got shot.
He should have died so many times in this movie. So that's why there's so much of that level of disbelief you have to have.
See, when I go into certain movies, I'm not as harsh on them as others. Like a movie like Flatliners, I'm a little harsher with because, that's not that actually is exploring a subject people think about all the time, the concept of life after death. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to bring some touch of care to that subject.
Right.
And you didn't, so you failed in that regard. This movie is about 3 giant animals destroying buildings. Yeah. So they gave me that. I'm happy.
I'm trying to critique this, knowing full well what kind of movie this is. It's a cash grab that also mixes in with some nostalgia, which also mixes in with just pure entertainment, which is what it was. It was a lot. That's why I said if this was just being scored on an entertainment basis, it's a 9 out of 10. It's something, but like I said, that will go down if you watch this at home. So you actually have to experience this movie in a theater. Otherwise, it's not going to do anything for you. I'm sure of it. So it's not a movie I would rewatch unless it was to go with a group to go see it in theaters again. But it's not going to be one I would probably want. I might buy it on Blu-ray just to see how it looks on a TV, just because there's just such a difference between the special effects when you experience it in a theater and when you experience it on television. Mm-hmm. So that would be the only, just out of pure curiosity, how it looks on a TV, why I might buy it, but not because I'm going to rewatch it a million times on a TV. So with that being said, on a movie level, my score would be a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
How about you? Is yours changing, or are you leaving yours where it's at?
Leaving it where I stand.
So 9. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie a whole lot. as a gamer, I was like, as a gamer, I've actually sat through way worse than this.
I have too. I mean, not as a gamer. I'm not a gamer. But
So I've
definitely sat through worse.
I've watched some of my favorite video games be butchered horribly worse than this. So I that's why I was excited that Rampage came out the way it did. I was like, they did it. They actually just took the plot of the game, changed a couple of elements, and actually made a decent movie out of it. Right. And I was pleasantly surprised that I actually was like caring for characters and things happening. I was like, that was kind of cool. And it actually gave me some cool shots, like the one where where The Rock was running on the building, and he could look at the alligator chasing him underneath it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool shot you don't really see in our monster movies. Like, yeah, humans running through rubble while the monster's coming through the rubble. That's a cool shot. I thought that was cool. So they actually did have some imagination with this movie. They just didn't go. They just didn't try to adapt key scenes from the game. They actually made their own thing.
And that would have probably ruined it for me if they really did try to do, because in the game they're human characters, or the humans that transform into these monsters.
Yeah,
which would have totally been a different movie.
Oh yeah,
but would have, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that would have made it more interesting. I guess in the right hands, that would have been an interesting story. But
yeah,
if based off of what this movie was, that would have been stupid.
Yeah, it would have been stupid. But as it stands right now, I enjoyed it a lot. I want to see a Rampage 2. I want to see them.
I do want to see it too, but yeah.
I want to see them go. We got Rampage now. We got Rampage like we got now. They need to call the sequel Rampage World Tour, just like the old N64 PlayStation game. Make it happen, Warner Brothers. I want to see Rampage World 2. I want to see a giant rhino and a mouse team with George destroying cities again. Come on, make it happen. Or was that Universal? No, Universal 2 had the alien. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, guys, that was our show. That was episode 28 of the Movie Champ Show. Go ahead and throw our names up here. Just a reminder, I am Walker Cheatham.
EJ Fleming.
And you can find us on our social medias that are right there underneath our names, and also the links to them are
in the description below.
Yep. All right. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching episode 28 of the Movie Champ Show. Make sure you... Golly, I never get this right. Make sure you check over there for the last episode of the Movie Champ Show. Check our most recent movie reviews. And also make sure you hit that subscribe button. I know if you're watching this live, you're not seeing any of this right now.
No.
And post, you guys.
Yeah, you'll see boxes and circles later.
Yep.